Yep, I've been working on this last couple of days. I got maybe 15, 16 hours in it. That's just putting the quarter panel on and welding it and grinding down most of the welds. I think cutting it off and everything, I might have spent, I don't know, 3 hours. So, no, looking, I don't know, somewhere around 18 hours, something like that. But, these areas right here are where I drilled some holes. So there was a backing plate that is welded to the B-post here. And it's also, probably can't see it, no. Way down inside there, right across that area, there's a bracket. And that's what that bracket is. It welds onto that side and it comes all the way out and it shapes the edge of the quarter panel. And that's what guides this quarter panel and kind of keeps it going on straight. And of course, you got this too. You got to make sure it's up against that and down all the way. I didn't go get my doors and hang them on here. I know I should have. That's the best way to do it. But we'll knock on wood and hope for the best here, because what I went ahead and done is I did go measure the doors. And excuse my brain parts now, I can't remember the damn length of it. I'm thinking it was like 40 something inches, I can't remember for sure. Anyway, I put it on there, and I done that with this quarter panel before I cut it off before. While I was doing that left one, put the door on, I got the door gap right, and I measured the length, you know, from like the door gap all the way to the end of the quarter panel. So then I come over here and that's how I kind of got both sides close. But my opinion is, with the tolerances that are on these cars that I've seen some of the hood gap and door gaps and everything. I kid you not, I've seen door gaps back here that was almost 5/8 of an inch wide, and that could be because the subframe wasn't mounted in. But I'm getting off track here. But anyway, going back to about that brace, I had holes drilled here. There's one there, and here. I drilled one here, which ended up being too far out. I just had to fill it up because that brace was down here further. I thought it was up higher. And I drilled, I think, right there, and right about there, and right about there. And I plug welded those. Right in there, you can see where I've got those 2 plug welds and a tack weld at the very back. That is a little bracket that I've talked about that goes up underneath here and it welds to this. And like I've said numerous times in a few videos I've done, when you're cutting your quarter panel off, do not cut through here, you know, because you'll cut that little brace. What I did is I feel with my finger, you slide it that way and you feel the little brace sticking down, and you know that's about where it's at. So I just cut right here, and I cut right here, and then I just go the perimeter around everything, cut all that out, go around here to the perimeter, cut it out. That way I don't cut into the inner finger well or the outer finger wells. I don't cut into any of the braces. But as I've talked about before, I got a bad glare from that LED light that I put up. And you can't see nothing. There we go. Right, instead of peeling the roof back here and sliding the quarter panel up under it, what I did, the little stair step part, I just cut it off and I laid it on top here like I did the other side, and I just welded it on because, well, you can see there's a pretty good gap there, and there's a little bit of step there too, and that is where they put the lead in there from the factory. Well, as I've said before, I always take the lead out because, you lead, every time I see it put in a car, you either get rust underneath it here, or if you're using lacquer primer, then you can't get the primer to stick to the lead. It ends up just peeling off all the time. Just a pain in the butt. Also, it was on my Nova, not near as bad as it was on the Nova, but in that 74 Plymouth Duster I did, there was rust really bad up under the edge of the lead, like on both ends here, and on the Duster was where it was the worst, up on the cow panel up here. The rust just got all up under the lead, so I take it off and I just put the kitty hair, the fiberglass reinforced body filler on it. And something else you could do too, which I like doing this better, is right here where the weld is, where the seams. After you get epoxy on here, you can do it before or after, because JB Welder is an epoxy product also. But take the JB Weld and push it. You can go back and forth, every direction, this way, and push it down in there real good. And the reason why is that JB Weld epoxy, if it'll repair an engine box, it's definitely going to keep any water or anything from out of here, and any shrinkage that you might have. So I like to put it on there. I mean, you know, it'd be expensive, but you could fill that all the way up to there with that JB Weld and bridge that over there. And if you get the runny one, which I like it better because it dries slower and I feel that it sticks better, you're gonna have to take a piece of 2-inch tape and build a bridge right here, because that JB Weld will run off of it, and you'll have it all down here. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to get out because you're gonna take your die grinder and yeah, so make sure you keep it from running down in there and out here in places where you don't want it. But put that JB Weld on there, let it dry. I think about 4 hours where it starts getting tacky. And then I usually take like some 80 grit or something and kind of just rough the top up and get it close. And then I let it finish drying the rest of the night. And you come out here and you can just, you know, I sand it with a DA. And just get it across there. It don't take it all the way down, because you want to leave some over it where it fills up all this, but you don't want to hump. But take it down and get it pretty flat, and then put your put epoxy on the car, and then go back and do all your body work. But the reason why I'm saying all this is that epoxy, like I said, is the repairs the engine box. I think it's got like a 3,500 PSI rating. It's not, you know, gonna have any problems with this. So, because, give you an example, my father, I had a 55 Chevy, and some of you know how big that hole is on the hood of a 55 Chevy. Well, back then all he had was a stick welder, and he didn't want to get it real hot, so he took some 3-inch cold rolled steel and stuck it up underneath there, so that's where he would have done it, where the hole was. Just tack welded on each end and stuck that duct tape up under the back side of it, mixed up 3 or 4 big old tubes of that JB Weld industrial stuff, packed it all down in there, pushed it in the back side to where that tape kind of ballooned out and stuck all around the that 3/8 cold rolled rod that he had welded in there. He let that dry, and I'm looking at him like, what the heck is he doing? I didn't say nothing. He come back the next day, and then he roughed it all in, and then he put some fiberglass reinforced body filler over that. He got that block down with 80 grit, and then put some regular body here, and finished it out with 180 and painted that. But he kept that car about 8 years, and I kept looking at it every time we go over there and visit, because we go over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to visit him. And he kept the car parked outside too, and I would look at it, seeing if there was a crack or shrink anywhere. And that thing never did shrink, it never cracked anything. And that hole's, I kid you not, it's almost the size of a little one of those blue racket balls. So if it didn't shrink and fall out of there, I mean, you're not going to have no problem with it. So go back about this, you put that over it, and then put your epoxy down, and then you can do your body work, and then put your epoxy back over it. And that is completely sealed. You ain't got to worry about water getting in it, nothing. And your body works on top of it. It always shrinks a little, but with that JB Weld being on there, it doesn't shrink very much, so you're going to have less shrinkage. So, sorry for the long explanation, but thought I'd help out there. And let me see, I got some of these ground down. Hard to see the mouth clear. Still got a little bit to go on that. Hadn't ground all the way down. I got that ground down. And I'm going to do a flush mount glass on this. And what I plan on doing, they're going to get some flat, I think it's called stock. It's they have 3/4 inch wide and 1 inch wide. And I'm going to get an 1/8 of an inch thick. And I'm going to get, one of those, God, the name escapes me, but those rollers to shape panels. Go to Harbor Freight and get one. I'm going to shape that steel to where it's got this shape around here at the edge. And then I'm going to drill little holes in there and get each little place marked, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever. Drill the holes and pull them down in there and tap them in there. And while they're all held in place, look at them all, make sure they fit good. Drill some like 1/4 inch holes in it. And that way I can go back and plug weld it. After I get that plug welded there, then I'll go back and I'm going to put little tack welds on the pieces where it butts together. And then I'll go around here every so often and put a tack weld around here. Well, those screws have got that pulled tight up against here. And then after I get all the tack welds down, then I'm going to go like, I'm going to say maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches at a time, and just put, about 1 inch worth of weld, move over someplace else, keep doing that, get that fully welded, and I'll come back down and whatever's sticking up above it, I'll just grind it off level with the body. And then that way, on my glass, the only thing I might have to figure out is what I'm going to do with the stainless steel trim that goes with the trunk here. I may end up painting it the color of the body of the car, that way to blend in, because you're going to have a pretty wide gap there, almost 1.5 inches wide or so, between the trunk there and all these clips will show. So that is something that I have to deal with. But like I said, get back about this after I got those pieces cut and tacked in and everything, go weld it all in, and then come back and grind it down. And I'll probably have to get me a dang 16 grit grinding disc to grind off that 1/8 inch flat stock. But then that'll get that in there, and then that's going to take up, I think 1/8 inch should be right about the right width to take up the gap there, and the glass to fit in there and not have any trim around it or a gasket. And then when they put it in, they can just stick urethane around it like they do in the newer car windshields. And the front's going to be the same process, pretty similar. But why I decided to go ahead and do that is this car had so much rust in it. I mean, it was rusted all around here. This deck panel piece here was rusted out. All that was rusted. You can see right there where I've got them cut out. They were rusted. And it's real pitted. And some places are kind of thin up there. But all the top of the roof was good. And I didn't want to cut the whole roof off. The roof was like $400 something plus another $150 for shipping. So I decided to do that. Yeah, this video is going on 13 minutes long. It takes forever for me to upload them. But like I said, I've got that ground. I got to finish grinding up here. That's welded in there. Got to ground that. This here. And I've already ground some of this off and then come back and welded some more. Had little spots that I missed. This area right here, one thing I don't like about the way they do it, there's a big old gap there. And from the factory, it's just cocked full of that tar looking stuff, like some kind of sealer. And they did the same back here. I mean, they just took it and just gooped and gobbed it. It was just everywhere. But I didn't like that big old gap there. And yeah, if I ever have to replace the quarter panels or somebody else has to cut them off, they're going to be cussing. But oh well. So I just went ahead and welded the damn thing up there. Grind it smooth. Got that in there. I had talked about Frenching in these bumpers, tucking them in, but it's the big part of the work is not actually cutting the quarter panel, but it's messing with all that down inside there. What my plans was just to cut each side off and then swap sides. That way this recess here, instead of sticking out, would sink in. And I would have all that welded in there, except this one will be on the other side because it's got to move over there and match the body. And then I was going to cut the bumpers, I don't know, probably out here on the end and tuck them in. But that was my thoughts. Who knows, I may get a wild hair in my butt, still do it, but we still got a lot to go on this car and many hours left to go, so who knows what I'll do. I may go full-blown crazy with some body mods on it, and I may not. I may just keep it kind of modified. But got all that welded in there, and yeah, they are ugly because I don't know if you guys remember, about, I don't know, 7 weeks or so ago, maybe 8, burnt my eyes real bad welding it, working on that rotisserie. And after dealing with eye infections and everything else for a month or 2, my eyesight still ain't that good. But when you're looking up and it's dark like that under there, you can't see what the crap to weld. So. And as I've said before, I'm just a self-taught amateur welder. But I've rambled on long enough here. There's that side there. Next, I am thinking I may work on that trunk. I need a new one, but the trunk is almost $400. The only thing so far, without taking all the primer I know about, is that right there. That's where one of the badges were at, and you rusted through, and they just took like a chisel or a hammer and cut the part out and hammered it down a little bit and had some fiberglass reinforced Bondo packed up in it. But I don't know how thin it is. It feels pretty sturdy there. That's not even going to bend at all. So only thing is, I noticed when I had it off the car and I move it around, I got most of them out. You can hear like little rust particles or dirt particles moving around inside of it. I have not washed this one out. That Plymouth Duster I washed out 3 or 4 times, and you could still hear a little crap rolling around in there. So when I ended up getting ready to paint it, I ended up just taking some sealer and squirting the cold oil inside the holes where I could and just hold dirt down. I didn't have to worry about it blowing back out and getting in the jams of the paint job. But that's where we are. So I guess I'll shut up here and get back to work, and we'll work on getting this uploaded, because I know it will take forever to upload. Thanks for watching, guys.